President Feta cheese. So fresh. So creamy. No wonder it's the #1 feta in America. If it's excellent, it's President.
If you turned 65 recently like me, it's important you find a Medicare Advantage plan that gives you the coverage you're looking for. But finding one can be difficult. The best thing I did, and I suggest you do the same, is call a licensed insurance agent and let them walk you through your Medicare Advantage plan options. There are so many benefits you have access to, so make the call now and let the representatives explain everything to you. Our licensed insurance agents can offer you a variety of Medicare Advantage plans. Plus, the call is free, the information is free, and there's no obligation to enroll. We're here to make it easy for you to select a Medicare Advantage plan that may work for your needs. Finding a Medicare Advantage plan can be easy if you do what I did. Make a quick call right now to learn more. Thank you. Call 855-672-1558. That's 855-672-1558. Call now.
You're watching Fox 22, WFVX, Bangor.
With a death in Clinton. Good afternoon, I'm Susan Farley. Funeral services were held for a warden killed in the line of duty. And we have an update on the investigation into the fire and explosion at Robbins Lumber Mill in Searsmont. Thank you for joining us. We'll have more on these and other stories coming up. First, let's check in with meteorologist Devin Biggs. Devin?
Hey Susan, happy Friday afternoon. It's a beautiful one out there as high pressure pushes in, keeping things very nice and sunny. It will be a nice one out there. The only thing we need to keep an eye on will be the gusty winds that will pick up at times up to around 25 miles per hour. Let's zoom things out. The front is well down to our south, while areas further off towards the west still seeing some rainfall at this moment in time. So futurecast moving forward, look at this. Lots of sunshine this afternoon. We'll see a few passing clouds overnight, but either way, the overall general idea will be a mostly clear sky and a good amount of sunshine as we head towards your Saturday. Some more clouds will start to approach slowly from the south and west through Saturday, but some gusty winds reaching up to about 20 to 25 miles per hour today, backing off later on tonight, and the winds will stay quiet as we head towards your Saturday. So moving forward today, lots of sunshine, breezy, highs in the upper 60s, and that northwest wind at about 25 miles per hour. All right, by tonight, a low 40s, mostly clear with the wind overall looking nice and calm. Your hourly forecast, plenty of sunshine, maybe a passing cloud or so if you're lucky, with temperatures overall in the 60s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Susan?
Thank you, Devin. Maine State Police have arrested a man for an alleged homicide in Clinton. 66-year-old James Simonson was arrested Thursday afternoon. He's charged with murder for a shooting on Main Street in Clinton in June of 2025. 68-year-old William Bill Parent of Clinton died from injuries he received during the shooting. This is a photo of the alleged victim on your screen. Parent was then reported missing in July of 2025 and was later the subject of an intense search. Simonson is also charged with possession of a firearm by a prohibited person. He's being held at the Kennebec County Jail without bail. Scores of law enforcement, family, friends, and community members gathered to remember the life of Joshua Tibbetts, a Maine game warden pilot whose life was cut short last week in a plane crash. Those who knew him say he was one of a kind, equally devoted to service and family. Our Doug Banks was at the Cross Insurance Center yesterday as attendees paid respects and shared memories.
The life of Maine game warden pilot Joshua Tibbetts was celebrated on Thursday.
I will hold you in my broken heart always.
Law enforcement from across Maine escorted the 50-year-old into the Cross Insurance Center. Loved ones surrounding his flag-draped casket.
I'll never stop being proud to be his daughter. I wish we had more time, more dinners, more talks, more movies, more ordinary days together. Thank you for everything you gave us. Thank you for the memories, the lessons, the adventures, and the love. I'll carry the memories with me forever.
The father of 2 daughters and a stepdaughter was restocking fish in the area of Schoolhouse Pond in Avon on Tuesday, May 12th. Authorities say at around 11 a.m., his Cessna dispatched an automatic distress call. There was no prior communication before the crash, and he was the only one on board. Franklin County authorities identified Tibbetts. The FAA and the NTSB are currently investigating the incident. Meanwhile, his fellow wardens pledged to keep watch over his family.
You have my phone number. You know where my office is. And I, along with every game warden here, will be there if you need us.
Those who spoke on Thursday told tales of misadventures in ordinary moments of the Corinna-raised man, all of which encapsulated how people described him as one of a kind and devoted to work, life, and above all, his family.
As I try to assign some meaning to this awful tragedy, I try to remind myself of a few important truths, and I want to leave them with you today. Tell the people you love that you love them every single chance you get. Don't sweat the small stuff. Relationships are what truly matter in this world. And finally, listen to people. Just listen.
In Bangor, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
The people of Maine also took time to say goodbye to a history-making lawmaker. Gerald Talbot was Maine's first black legislator. He passed away earlier this month at the age of 94. Allison LaPierre reports on the celebration of life that drew people from all over Maine.
Family, friends, and state leaders gathered here today in remembrance of Gerald E. Talbot, a Maine politician whose work in advocating for civil rights and equality touched the lives of many.
God bless you, Papa. Rest in peace.
Gerald E. Talbot was a political activist that grew up in Maine. Devoted to public service and equality, Talbot was a man rooted in history and served as Maine's first black state legislator.
He knew there had to be another voice, a voice for people who had no voice in the Maine legislature.
Elected officials, clergy, family, and friends shared heartfelt stories about Talbot's life and accomplishments. That includes his time in the Army, his participation in the March on Washington alongside Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and becoming the founding president of the Portland NAACP chapter.
Jerry Talbot opened the door to a joyous daybreak. His daughters have walked through that door. Craig Hickman has walked through that door. Jill Dewson has walked through that door. Rick Lawrence on the Maine Supreme Court has walked through that door. Future generations of all races and faiths walked through that door.
While in office, Talbot sponsored Maine's first bill protecting gay and lesbian people from discrimination and removed offensive names targeting the black community from locations across the state.
He knew empowerment of people who have been cast out of society, who are not considered to be part of society. Political empowerment of those people is at the very essence of America.
The celebration of life concluded with remarks from Talbot's 4 daughters, including State Senator Rachel Talbot Ross.
Our father's life was also guided by faith, as you've heard, not simply faith in words, but faith in action. He believed in seeing the dignity and worth in every person.
First responders from Waldo County and beyond gathered last night to say their goodbyes to fallen Morrill firefighter 27-year-old Andrew Cross, who was killed in the line of duty at Robbins Lumber Mill. Hundreds of firefighters, EMS personnel, game wardens, police officers, and members of the public came together to pay their respects to Cross at the funeral home in Belfast. Across the state, first responders showed up to honor Cross's ultimate sacrifice, stressing that the community of Maine's emergency personnel stands united in times of tragedy.
We kiss our significant others goodbye in the morning as we're off to work, and with full expectation that we're coming home that night. Whether you're a volunteer or you're a full-timer, it doesn't matter. We all leave to go to do the same job, and we're all hoping to come back.
During his memorial procession on last Saturday, we spoke with members of the Morrill Fire Department. They described Cross as a diligent, kind, hard-working young man.
Andrew was a firefighter's firefighter, if that makes any sense. He was the first guy grabbing a nozzle, the last guy to sit down and take a break.
He definitely was a hard-working individual and did a lot to serve his community.
A private funeral for Cross's family and loved ones will be held today in Morrill. Investigators with the State Fire Marshal's Office and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives continue their work at the scene of Robbins lumber mill fire and explosion. Their work focused Thursday on the continuing interviews, scene excavation, and evidence recovery. They also continued their examination of the mill's fire suppression systems as they work to determine the origin and cause of that fire. The Department of Public Safety says investigators have now sifted through hundreds of cubic yards of sawdust and debris by hand and with heavy equipment. Crews are also carefully excavating material within the silo areas to preserve and document potential evidence. A crane slated for use today has arrived. It will be used for planned lifting operations involving the silo structure. Prep work for that was also completed. Coming up on ABC 7 News at noon, new recommendation could knock the Transgender Sports Initiative off the ballot this November. We've got details when we return.
Lightning fast and shockingly affordable. Don't compromise. Get internet that's 40 times faster than cable. No glitches, no surprise fees, just 100% fiber. Fidium. Fiber up. Lightning fast and shockingly affordable. Don't compromise. Get internet that's 40 times faster than cable. No glitches, no surprise fees, just 100% fiber. Fidium. Fiber up.
Who has the best kept secret in Penobscot County?
We do!
Welcome to Maple Lane Farms, a fifth-generation family farm that's committed to providing you with the best quality products. Our farm-raised local and sustainable meat is flash frozen to lock in the freshness and natural flavors. Experience the top-notch quality of our meat that's naturally raised without any antibiotics or hormones. Get the best of both worlds, quality and affordability. Try Maple Lane Farms today, the candy store for the carnivore.
We've got a 100-year-old company here, and it's because of the service, the quality, and the experience. It gets done right.
I think we've been doing it for so long. The only thing that we do, that when we walk into a room, we automatically know how to treat that window. We can take any product that the customer's looking for and make it work in just about any situation that they present us with. So
there's no reason to be overwhelmed. No. We can help you through it.
We're not going anywhere. We've been around for 100 years.
I once told Sam, if you wanted to grow his department store chain, offer lower prices every day. No, I didn't invent discount pricing, but we did invent something better, Dorsey's Red Tag Clearance.
Look for red tags store-wide at Dorsey's. The tags mean you'll save an additional 10 to 50% off Dorsey's already discounted prices. Exceptional values like these won't last long.
Remember, these can save you hundreds. Live beautifully, my friends.
Think you know Robert Charles? Think again. While President Trump was crushing the woke left, DC insider Bob Charles was cashing in, making millions holding lucrative contracts with the woke DEI Never Trump Obama administration. Bob Charles, looking the other way, abandoning the MAGA movement, working for liberal DEI-loving Democrats, failing President Trump. Anything for a buck chuck can't be trusted. Trump traitor Robert Charles, woke, radical, wrong. Just too liberal for Maine.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
January 6 defendants and allies of President Trump are among those already lining up for the administration's almost $1.8 billion compensation fund. The Justice Department says the fund will go to those who are allegedly wronged, targeted under the Biden administration. ABC's Christiane Cordero has the details.
Today, some of the president's allies are lining up for a piece of the Department of Justice's so-called anti-weaponization fund as Democrats scramble to stop it in its tracks.
Democrats have filed in court to block it. Democrats have filed legislation to block it. Democrats are going to fight in the budget process, the appropriations process, to block it. It shouldn't exist.
The nearly $1.8 billion fund will be paid for by taxpayers. The DOJ created it in exchange for President Trump agreeing to drop several legal actions, including his $10 billion lawsuit against the IRS. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche will create the fund and appoint 5 commissioners to oversee it, a process that requires little to no transparency. In a statement, outgoing Senator Mitch McConnell writes, quote, "So the nation's top law enforcement official is asking for a slush fund to pay people who assault cops? utterly stupid, morally wrong, take your pick. Among those who say they'll file claims for compensation, former Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio, who was convicted of seditious conspiracy charges following the January 6, 2021 riot at the Capitol. And Trump ally Mike Lindell alleges his company lost $400 million from election-related lawsuits. Lindell was one of the most vocal deniers of the 2020 presidential election results.
I was glad to see it might be a faster way to get my employees that all were hurt. Some of them lost everything. And I think it's a real good thing for everybody.
Trump's former lawyer turned adversary, Michael Cohen, says he also wants payment, alleging his tax returns were leaked just like the president's were. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
The Cuban government holds a rally in Havana in support of Raul Castro. The Friday rally comes after the U.S. unveiled an indictment that accuses Castro of being in charge of the 1996 shootdown of civilian planes flown by Cuban-American group Brothers to the Rescue. Castro, who was the Minister of Defense at the time, now faces charges for murder and destruction of an airplane. The indictment renews fears of a possible U.S. military intervention in Cuba. Cuban citizens gathered at the anti-imperialist Tribune just yards away from the U.S. Embassy. Castro rarely makes public appearances, and the last time he was seen in Cuba was on May 1st for International Workers' Day. A new recommendation could knock a transgender sports initiative off the ballot this November. The recommended decision from the Secretary of State's office says the petition campaign fell short of the signatures needed to qualify. Investigators found widespread problems with petition circulation, including signatures gathered without circulators present and forged names. The proposed ruling would invalidate more than 1,000 additional signatures, dropping the total below the threshold required to be on the November ballot. The initiative aims to bar transgender student athletes from sports teams and locker rooms that don't align with their birth sex. A final decision is expected by Tuesday. A federal court has dismissed a lawsuit brought by the United States Department of Justice that sought to compel Maine Secretary of State to hand over voter data. Shannon Bellows first declined the DOJ request in August 2025. The DOJ filed a suit against Maine in September 2025. In a statement, Secretary of State Shannon Bellows said, quote, "Today's ruling affirms that states, not the federal government, are in charge of our elections. From the moment the Trump administration sought every American's voter data, I said no." She went on to say, quote, "Let me be clear, Trump and the DOJ may continue to try to interfere with free and fair elections run by states. We will not let them." After the break, local students got a visit from a NASA engineer yesterday. We'll be right back.
Car accidents can be scary. It can feel like the whole world is crashing down around you. Hurt in a car accident, I'm on top of it. I'm your go-to guy.
Call 222-2222.
Come in and visit AMHG Works, Bangor's #1 gift shop, located at 36 Springer Drive in the Rennie's Plaza. We have special gifts for you, your furry companion, and that special someone you are in need of a gift for. It's worth a trip in for unique American-made gifts. Here at AMHG Works, everything is American-made, and we are open 7 days a week for your convenience. American-made home goods. We look forward to seeing you.
Why should your new floor come from Carpet One? Because we're passionate about the spaces our neighbors call home. We're part of your community, and we're also part of the world's largest cooperative of independently owned and operated flooring stores. So you can be sure you'll get great selection and outstanding value with every installation. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, tile, or luxury vinyl, our experts take the guesswork out of choosing the right floor. We're your local Carpet One Floor and Home, the one store for your perfect floor.
Spring is the ideal time to service your heat pump and protect your investment. At Omega Property Management, our professional heat pump cleaning removes built-up dust and debris that can reduce efficiency and drive up energy costs. A clean system doesn't just perform better, it uses less energy, helping lower your monthly electric bills and often paying for itself over time. Improve performance, extend the life of your system, and keep your home comfortable all season long. Efficient systems, smarter savings. Call us at 270-3294 to schedule your appointment today.
This spring, invest in your nest with the County Federal Credit Union. Your home has grown in value season after season. With the county's 1010 Home Equity Line of Credit, you can borrow up to your credit limit over 10 years with interest-only payments over those 10 years. 1010. And then you can stop and smell the roses, soak up the sun, and invest in your nest. The 1010 Home Equity Line of Credit, the County Federal Credit Union, countyfcu.org.
Judge Judy never misses a beat.
This is my playpen.
Let me stop you.
Don't stop me ever. Is not an answer. I love this job.
Judge Judy.
Weekdays at 5 on ABC 7.
As the weather's starting to warm up and the official start to grilling and picnic season is just a few weeks away, I thought it was the perfect time to share a recipe that is bright and sunny. It's ambrosia, and it's a dish that is often the center of debate. Some folks think that it's a side dish, while others insist it's a dessert. Either way, it's downright tasty. And it goes together like this. We place a couple of eggs in a double boiler, or if you don't have one, you can simply place a heat-proof bowl over a pot of simmering water. Now to that, we add some vinegar and sugar and whisk it until it starts to thicken up. Then we take it off the heat and stir in some butter before letting it cool. Once it's cool, we fold it into some whipped topping. And after it's mixed, we stir in some pineapple, cherries, mandarin oranges, coconut, and mini marshmallows. Try not to overmix it so the fruit doesn't break up. And whether you serve this as a change of pace side dish or as a refreshing dessert, everyone will go back for more. It's really that good. I do hope you'll go online and get the recipe for our Tutti Frutti Ambrosia so you'll have a new side dish or a dessert to serve all summer long. I'm Howard with Always Hungry Kelly from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found an easier way for you to say, ooh, it's so good. What do you think, Carol?
Students at Bangor High School got a visit yesterday from a NASA engineer as part of the Challenger Learning Center of Maine's 40th anniversary initiative. Dr. Kenneth Harris is a senior project engineer with the Aerospace Corporation, but his STEM career began early in his teenage years as an intern for NASA. He's also a Challenger board member. His visit is part of the Challenger Center's 40th anniversary, focused on honoring the legacy of the Challenger crew members and celebrating 40 years of promoting STEM education for students. Harris shared exciting NASA projects with students, including work related to the James Webb Space Telescope.
Kind of opens a light to other students that there's a lot of opportunities out there and that anything is really possible.
I know at some point my time within the industry will come to an end. And so how are we intentionally fostering this sense of creativity within the next generation that's going to continue to travel and carry them into the stars, no pun intended.
The event also included a student-moderated Q&A featuring Bangor High School STEM students. The Challenger Learning Center of Maine has lots of programs happening this summer. To learn more, you can visit astronaut.org. The CDC reports a record number of visits to the emergency room for tick bites in April. That's the highest since 2017. Some tick spread diseases like alpha-gal syndrome, where you develop a red meat allergy, and Lyme disease.
And ticks can be very small and hard to spot, and especially checking your scalp or areas that are covered in hair, just because sometimes they can hide in there and you don't know that they're there.
Health officials say your best defense is wearing long pants and long sleeves, bug spray, and showering after you come inside. They say you should also keep your grass trimmed and try to walk on paved areas.
What I would do with my own family is, if we're planning, know that we're going to be out in a wooded area or a grassy area. Just like we would carry our spray for mosquito-borne illness, we'll carry things that protect us both from mosquitoes and ticks.
They say if a tick does latch onto you, you should use a tweezer to take it off your skin and watch for symptoms like fever or rash. If you do see any of the symptoms, contact a health professional right away. When we return, Devin Biggs has your 5-day forecast.
Don't
take a tiny check for your car wreck, call the twos.
We got a client who fractured their pelvis, a big check for $300,000. Hurt in a car accident? I'm your go-to guy.
Falls are the #1 cause of injury to senior citizens. Acorn Stair Lifts has the solution. Just don't fall. Sit, relax, ride with an Acorn Stair Lift, the world's leader in stair lifts. Don't let limited mobility keep you from going up and down your stairs, even outside. Call Acorn Stair Lifts now for a free information kit and no obligation quote. Why risk falling when you can safely ride?
Our Acorn Stair Lift is definitely more affordable than moving.
The Acorn Stair Lift has a padded seat and backrest. Safety sensors stop the chair if there are obstacles. The seat swivels and locks so you don't twist your body. And the Acorn Stair Lift folds away. It even runs during power outages.
I was really surprised at how little it cost.
Call 1-800-732-2971 right now for your free information kit or visit our website today. That's 1-800-732-2971.
I'm Jordan Wood. Everywhere I go, Mainers tell me they've had enough. Tired of higher costs, exhausted by endless wars, and worn out by corporate greed. Washington is failing us. It's time for a new generation to fight Trump and the billionaires. I've already taken on election deniers and won. I'll never take a dime from corporate PACs or lobbyists. I'm Jordan Wood, and I approve this message because I'll fight corruption, defend our democracy, and finally pass Medicare for all.
Mainly Tacos Dos is located on Main Street in Bangor, several doors down from the Main Discovery Museum. It's a place for great food, drinks, and atmosphere. Check out our menu online. Mainly Tacos Dos, 64 Main Street, Bangor.
A lot of people have a long holiday weekend coming up. Let's take a look at your full forecast with Devin Biggs. Devin?
Alrighty, Susan, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, now offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. Alrighty, here we go. Wave heights very quiet out there. We have no advisories in effect. Wave heights only at around 1 to 2 feet according to the buoys at this moment in time. Farther out towards sea at around 3 feet, so very nice out there this afternoon. On land, high pressures in full control. I promise this thing is working. You can see some clouds out there, but overall a mostly sunny sky this afternoon as high pressure is in full control. Let's zoom things out. Some other areas seeing some showers and even some thunderstorms across parts of the U.S. But again, the front has passed us. High pressure is in full control, and that's keeping us nice and quiet. So a mostly sunny sky today, some passing clouds overnight, but again, the general idea will be a mostly clear sky. As we head towards tomorrow, lots of sunshine to start things off. As we do push forward, notice clouds slowly push in as we lose high pressure. So by Saturday evening, we'll watch for increasing clouds, but the precipitation still staying away, but the clouds slowly building in as we head towards your Sunday. So that UV index forecast for today, it's at an 8 because of all that sunshine. It's very high. Burn time of simply 15 minutes. So hats, sunglasses, sunscreen, and shade will all be necessary to avoid a bad sunburn. Gusty winds today reaching up to about 20 to even 25 miles per hour before the wind backs off tonight, and the wind still not much of a problem as we head towards tomorrow. All right, let's talk about temperatures. Our average high temperature is 68 degrees. We'll do that today and even a little bit warmer for you Saturday, and then we're down a little bit as we head towards Sunday and your Monday, and then kind of up a little bit more Tuesday and a Wednesday, and then down again Thursday. Your forecast for today, okay, here we go. Upper 60s, mostly sunny and breezy. Then a northwest wind at about 25 miles per hour. Overnight, okay, low 40s, mostly clear, and a wind overall looking nice and calm. And here we are on Saturday, low 70s, partly cloudy, and the wind overall looking nice and calm. Let's check out your extended forecast for your Sunday. A mostly cloudy sky with highs in the low 60s. Memorial Day looking rainy right now with highs in the low 60s as well. Partly cloudy Tuesday, a chance for rain showers, highs in the mid 70s.
Thank you, Devin. Crews in Colorado rescue a puppy trapped under a patio. It took 18 crew members from the South Metro Fire, including a full technical rescue team and the county animal control, to rescue this tiny Yorkie named Tank. South Metro Fire officials say the desperate owner agreed to have a big portion of her house destroyed just to rescue her little dog. The team went through the complex and small spaces looking for him, including the draining system. Thankfully, their hard work paid off at the end as Tank was safely taken out from under the house patio. And it's one baby hippo's first outdoor bath. This pygmy hippopotamus was born less than 2 weeks ago at the Berlin Zoo. While pygmy hippos typically spend less time in the water compared to larger hippos, moisture is key to maintaining their sensitive skin. Zoo officials say the female calf is developing well, already weighing 22 pounds. Her species is classified as endangered, with less than 2,500 adult pygmy hippopotamuses believed to still be in the wild. The Berlin Zoo says her birth has been an important contribution to international conservation efforts for this species. Pretty cute. That's all for ABC 7 News at noon. Thanks for watching. I'm Susan Farley. We'll see you this evening on ABC 7 News at 6. Have a great afternoon.
At China Walk on Broadway in Bangor, we're serving up your Chinese favorites. Our food is delicious, our staff is friendly, and our service is fast. Open Tuesday through Sunday, call ahead, order online, or just stop by. Enjoy our indoor dining for the full experience, or get takeout that the whole family will enjoy. We'll make sure your cravings are satisfied. China Walk on Broadway in Bangor, where tradition meets flavor.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
The following program is paid for by Integrated Wellness Solutions, a proud supporter of the American Heart Association. These statements have not been evaluated.